Shark Week.
That's probably not the best use of our resources.
And we all know how that story ends.
Yes! I'm not going to die alone! Yeah! 5 stars! Suck it!
I've had more drugs to eat today than food. That can't be healthy.
Thanks, boss. This game. I hit a zombie in the face. You did? Nice job.
Welcome
To the Homebodies with Vern Bradley.
Oh boy, it is February 1st, 2021. Welcome to whatever this is. It's the Daily Escape from your newsfeed to join your fellow homebodies and talk about all the things that no one is talking about. The global health crisis is extremely important with over 103 million cases and 2.25 million deaths worldwide, and I advise you to use the amazing online resources to keep you and your community safe and informed. But here on the Homebodies, we're going to leave all that to the experts, and I instead invite you to turn all it off for an hour and talk about something other than the one thing everybody is talking about. Joining your fellow homebodies with a daily, suspicious show. You can join the conversation in our Discord channel and even call into the show using the voice channel Discord feature at homebodies.live, homebodies.live. I'm throwing this together for those that don't know and are like, what's this? I started doing this last year when the shutdown first happened. I did 40 consecutive shows. And then my life got completely derailed by other projects. And what I realized is that I have grown apart from the community. And also there's a lot of things that I wanted to kind of share more on the process-oriented side rather than be like waiting, incubating for months and months and months and then being like, I made a thing. I thought maybe I'd just kind of check in more on a daily basis. Hey to Maria in the chat, one of our favorite homebodies. I'm also checking out the live show chat in the Discord. Coming up in the show today, we've got our Novid news that's viral stories not about a virus. We've got the future stage, which is a peek behind the digital curtain to explore my experiments in virtual storytelling. But first, we're going to check in on an oldie but a goodie, our virtual video village. Now, traditionally, on a film set, the crew can see what's happening on a cluster of screens to make changes and collaborate, and this is called Video Village. And as a scrappy storyteller, I've never had the budget to actually do this on my films, but now that we're all working from home, I wanted to share a single take from a day of filming to collaborate with you, the virtual community. As Hollywood and Broadway remain shut down, how do we tell stories in isolation? And to explore this, Ashley Clements and I have been creating a film in chronological order. Each day we've improvised the next scene in the story, set up cameras, rehearsed, and filmed each other. We don't know where the story is going, and we invite you to join us for the adventure, give us feedback, even collaborate with us as our virtual crew and cast. The Homebodies is a fully improvised dramatic story with about a couple in financial trouble who turned to the world of adult camming to pay the bills. And many of our scenes will involve in-world videos and FaceTime calls where we can allow you to improvise your own side of the conversation, and put yourself in the movie using hashtag HomebodiesLive. So how this is going to work is we're going to go peek in on our virtual video village for today. I've just grabbed a take from the show, basically the very, very first scene. If you were part of the Homebodies earlier in the year, I started doing this. I got it like 3 days in, and then life derailed. So I'm going to start at the beginning just so we can ramp into it. This is a very opening shot of the film. We tried to roll 2 camera on most things because it's just the two of us doing everything. So if we could get everything set up and then act, we could just focus on the story. Hello, Sam Proof, joining the party in the chat. And hello to Chris McEwen in the YouTube. There's so many places. We're all of the places today. I'm using Restream to kind of boost this signal out. We'll figure out where we land. But for now, welcome to the party. If you're just joining us, this is the Homebodies, a daily, hopefully, selection of randomness where I'm sharing my process on a variety of different things. And one of these is our virtual video village on the project, The Homebodies, where Ashley Clements and I have been dramatically improvising a story in chronological order. And so here we are, opening shot of the film. I'm literally handing back the camera. Ashley grabs it from me and walks away from me so we can show my character. There he is. Doing voiceover work in his closet, which is something I actually do. And then we've got the other shot of him actually responding and talking to his sound engineer friend from behind the computer. So we get both ends of the conversation. What that means is there is a character currently named Gary. I am saying the name Gary, but that could be anything. In this conversation. And if you, what I think we're going to do is I'm going to try to put these out on TikTok because of the duet feature. And what we'll do is drop the scene. And if you want to duet with it, you can make up your side of the conversation, totally act, put yourself in the movie, series. What is this? We don't know. We're making it up in real time together and inviting you to come and be a part of the journey using hashtag HomebodiesAlive. So I'll throw it out on TikTok. You can duet with it. And what we'll do is if something really seems like it's working or, you know, the energy is there, or we think that's an interesting direction to take the character, I'll get in touch with you and say, hey, can we make it legit? And you can become that character in the story. And we're going to just keep finding ways to kind of set up people to enter the universe through screens, which is hopefully just a fun way to do this and spread the awareness of the show and have a little bit of creative fun. So that is our virtual video village of the day. Which leads us into our next segment, which I'm a little nervous about. Oh no, what button is it? What button do we think it is? Nope, it's not that one. Is it this one? We're going to get a little active. I don't have advertising on the show, so I figure I'll schlock my own stuff. And if you don't know, I created a card game several years ago that's a fitness card game. It's kind of Magic the Gathering meets personal fitness, and now that we're all trapped at home, I've been playing a lot of it, and we actually used Unity, the 3D render engine, to create a mobile game version of it. So it's in the Google Play Store and in the iOS Store under the name FitFan. We've got the OG old school cards right here that I basically dealt out every day to create my own workout. These workouts range between like 15 minutes to like 30 minutes. We're not going to do a 15-minute workout right now, don't worry. But I figured we should get up and active and moving. So I'm going to draw a random card here right off the top. And this is our elevated crushers. The activity is platform dips. Place hands on an elevated surface, knuckles facing your body, arms straight, bend the knees at 90 degrees, tighten the core, bend the elbows to 90 degrees, and press through the palms to straighten your arms to the starting position and perform it for a number of repetitions. And I'm going to say 15 seconds. We're going to try to do just a 15-second little hit on this every time I do the show, really to remind myself to be active, because I kind of sit in front of the computer at the beginning of every day, and then I get stuck there. So I'm just going to go for it here. Crank up our music a little louder. That could be, I should mix that a little better. Sorry about that. Use my chair over here. Just do some platforms. Dips. So you basically just use your hands on your palms off the edge of your chair and dip your elbows down to 90 degrees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I should have thought through the amount of space behind my desk. Sam Proof's asking in the chat, did you code Unity yourself or did you get help? I got help. I absolutely got help. I've been playing with Unity. I'm very familiar with it at this point. I've been spending about 18 months teaching myself Unity, but we all need assistance. And so I did get a little bit of help. Is it available in other languages? It's not, but that's a great proposition, Maria. Maybe we can work on figuring out how to translate it. If you drop that in the Discord chat, we can talk about it further. And that is our 15-second Fit Fan moment of the day. Little, now I'm sweating. Oh gosh, that's embarrassing. All right, so let's move on to everyone's favorite segment, an oldie but a goodie.
No vid news. Viral stories, not about a virus.
R.I.P. Screech. More Google shutdowns. And can Stacey Abrams get more noble? Here on Novid News, viral news stories not about a virus. Dustin Diamond, best known for his role as Screech on the TV show Saved by the Bell, has died from cancer at age 44, according to his manager. Diamond was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer in January. Rest in peace. I actually had the pleasure of working with Dustin several years ago on a parody project for Nerdist. He was incredibly kind and incredibly gracious to be able to work with, and obviously comes with the legacy of having been kind of a child actor that got fame through Saved by the Bell and took it with complete dignity. So often you meet people who have been in this world for so much longer than you, and just seeing how they respond to people who made such an emotional connection to an early character. And clearly this was so much of his life, of people being like, "You're Screech," and him being like, "Yes, I'm also more things," but like being incredibly gracious and kind. I cannot imagine the pain of learning, so young, that he had to go through this. My heart definitely goes out to his family. But rest in peace, Dustin Diamond. Some quick hits I'm going to keep pulling from my own personal timeline. This is the third day since I've brought back the show. First, I just did it kind of a recorded voiceover in my closet and threw it out on our Discord. So if you haven't seen those two shows, you can check those out in our Discord live show chat. This is my 327th day of full quarantine, and it has been 341 days since my life derailed when I got sick and had to go indoors. And just as I started to recover, everybody else went indoors, and I haven't gone back outside really since. Sadness. Our second story, Google is shutting down its internal Stadia game development division, the company announced today, as it refocuses Stadia to be the home for streaming games from existing developers instead of developing its own games for the service. And I've just got to ask real fast, is everybody at Google okay? This comes on the heels of a month ago, the company announced it would shut down the 3D object creation and library platform Poly, and they also halted development of the 3D painting app Tiltbrush. So it seems like a lot going on in kind of the virtual 3D, 2D, AR, VR space, as they seem to kind of be pulling back on their own in-house efforts. Maybe that's just because there's such a proliferation of work out there in the world, or maybe it means something worse. Maybe I should be taking the cue that if Google doesn't want to invest in the space, what am I doing? Looking in the chat real fast. Maria, almost a year. Oh, and you still think that the Novid News is Ashley's voice? No, we actually hired someone to do the plugs for the show back when I first did it because I wanted to be official and legit. Now that you mentioned that, I probably should have just gotten Ashley to do it because it would have been cheaper. Sam Proof, I totally want to get into coding some game projects. Maybe I'll reach out to you outside of this, not to disrupt my flow. Is there a flow, Sam? Let's be honest. Is this what flow looks like? It's interesting that right now everyone is at pulling things back. Absolutely. I think that's a sign of the times, especially just everything has become, look, everybody's got their own shop at home going on. Look, I'm dabbling in all this nonsense, so, why dedicate a staff and a team to it if you have such a robust outsourced economy, if you will? But it does mean a lot to me when companies like this actually take on these things, because it kind of tells the market, like, no, we're taking this seriously. You should invest here as well. There's a future here. And so I get a little nervous when I see Google, of all places, taking these massive shutdowns.
Novid-19, the top viral stories not about a virus.
And our final story in Novid News today, U.S. voting rights activist and Democratic Party politician Stacey Abrams has been nominated for this year's Nobel Peace Prize for her work to promote nonviolent change via the ballot box. Congratulations to Stacey Abrams. Her journey has been incredible. If you have not read her book, I highly book. She's actually very, very prolific. She's published several books, some as a romance author and others as her actual autobiography. I'm currently reading her autobiography. It's fantastic. It's also a workbook for leadership, which is incredible. So she actually has exercises at the end of each chapter to kind of empower you, the reader, to set out on your own journey. She's an absolute inspiration. She's a gift. We don't deserve her. but she's definitely the hero we need, and I'm very glad that she's bringing so much to so many right now. And that is our Novid News. I checked in the Novid News column in the Discord. Again, if you want to join the show, you can go into our Discord community. We've got a live chat there. We also have categories for the different segments, and one of them is a Novid News. And if you have news you want covered on the show, talked about, debated, please throw it in there. We also have our call-in queue that I keep an eye on, and if you drop in there, I can actually bring you on the show, I think. I don't want to overstep. It is my first day back in many, many months. So slowly we will rebuild whatever this is. So now that brings us into a news segment that I want to try out. I've got to remember what my buttons are. So far, so good, though. Here we go. Oh, that's just some lovely music. So we can just chat for a little bit. Throw in some light jams in the background. Just chat with y'all. How's everybody doing? Let's check the chat. Check the chat real fast. Yeah, we got a good little crew. Hello, everybody. Seems like YouTube's the spot to be today. That's fantastic. I do have to figure out how to port this into Instagram, because that's always been fun, is when we take over Instagram. Happy birthday. I actually don't have programmed the happy birthday cue yet into the show. Your boy Todoroki, happy birthday. I don't know what elbow cough means. It's a safe way to cough. But happy birthday to you, and happy birthday to anyone else listening to the show. And yeah, let's move into our final segment of the show. Thanks for being here on the Homebodies, this random little experiment that I was doing from my closet, got derailed, and then I missed y'all. And wanted to kind of build this back up and turn this into an accountability for me to get out the actual Homebody scenes, as well as work on some other projects in the light of day versus the darkness of 3 a.m. tinkering. That's not the right cue, but we'll take it. This is going to be the Future Stages, which is a peek behind the digital curtain to my experiments in virtual storytelling. And today I wanted to take y'all through. Currently, the Sundance Film Festival has gone completely virtual, and I got an Explorer ticket, which means I can show up in my headset or on my computer and go into a virtual world to interact with other filmmakers and creators and attendees. You can actually visit some of the projects both live and pre-recorded in virtual reality. And then there's also ways for you to just watch screeners of the film via their website. It's very elegant, but it's also, I think this is going to be a lot of what we see in 2021 is these kind of hybrid events that have physical breakouts or have a physical tether like the Sundance Film Festival that then have a virtual component, so that there's always that back pocket option for people's health and safety to be able to do it remotely. And so let's take a look at what it looks like when you go to the Sundance Film Festival right now. This is their kind of main gallery portal that you can go check out a variety of different web XR or extended reality projects. They've built out their own web XR system that operates on your desktop computer or inside of your headset, and you can walk around this area. You can go to what they call the Space Garden, which is where you design your avatar, put in your information. As I'm saying that, I'm like, oh no, is my personal information going to be on the screen? Let me look at that real fast. I'm highly confident. Like, I probably signed something and agreed that I wouldn't like share anything, so I'll probably get in trouble for this. But it's just showing off the interface. I'm not showing the content. I'm just bragging about this is really cool and an elegant solution to them basically making this event virtual, which is really cool. And as someone who has dabbled in this space myself, I know that this can look a little like video gamey or a little Sim City, or you're kind of like, well, I mean, is it that cool? It's like a stick figure running around. This is so hard. This is so hard and so incredible. And it's cool that they have this kind of like hangout lounge bar area that you can literally walk up to other participants that are represented by their little stick figure and then their headshot. And you can hear them from anywhere in the world and have a conversation with them and enter these little kind of like chat circles. So you see I'm entering right now. It's going to ask me if I want to enter the chat zone, which means I'll be able to hear people. make my microphone available, and now I can be heard, and I can hear them. And you can chat with people from all over the world attending the festival. Like, that's so cool. That's so cool. Anyone who knows my work in the future stages that was built on Mozilla Hubs, it's very similar. You kind of select a very generic avatar. You explore a space with other people in real time, either on your desktop computer using your arrow keys or in a headset. And they have all these cool features that are built into this particular platform that I found to be really cool. It's very accessible, kind of meets everybody where they are, what tech they have, which is really, really cool. So that's what's going on at the Sundance Film Festival. And I just wanted to share that as somebody who's kind of playing in this space and exploring new modes of storytelling and new ways to be live with an audience, to know that, like, look, I mean, Sundance, it doesn't get any better for that than that for an independent filmmaker. I would have loved to have had one of my WebXR projects or one of my film projects at a festival like that. I've gone in the past, had other films at the festival. And it's just really cool to see them embrace this new technology. Maria in the chat, random curiosity about today. The District Hollywood was registered on this day in 1887, 8 years before the invention of cinema. After the turn of the century, several producers and directors began to arrive, and in 1910, the first Hollywood film was shot, a 17-minute short film called In Old California. Maria, that is a fantastic bit of news. Kind of throw that into our Novid news. It's super exciting. Thanks for sharing that. That's incredible. And happy birthday to Los Angeles, the District of Hollywood. And 8 years before the invention of cinema. Really tells you where the priorities were. First, we got the gold. Then we brought the movies. Still true today. The money comes first. Bobby, hello in the chat. Chris, interested legged and walking around version. The avatars, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's very interesting. People are really kind of struggling with this concept of embodiment in virtual space. It's a big thing that I grapple with. And if you're familiar with the Mozilla Hubs platform, where I've onboarded a lot of my work, you're just represented kind of head and shoulders. You're kind of this floating body with hands if you're in a headset, but otherwise just kind of like a Lego body and a little Lego head, and you fly around the space, and you don't have feet, versus VR Chat has a full kind of bodied IK, elbows, knees, legs. And I think what's hard about this is it's hard to kind of track that without a full suit. So the idea that, like, you're, running around a space, and it's trying to simulate movement can be kind of difficult. So I think it's really interesting where Sundance took this. Again, they built this platform out for this experience. This is a bespoke platform that they're using, to my understanding, which is incredible that they launched that all on their own. I cannot imagine. I'm literally standing on the shoulders of giants with all the work I'm doing, and I'm like, I made some of a thing. So I cannot imagine making all of the thing. But it is an interesting question. Do you have a personal opinion about whether you need elbows and knees, if you will, or whether you can find something kind of artistic and fluid about different styles of embodiment? I'd love to know in the chat. When you're playing a game, do you need it to be hyper photoreal and every little movement perfect? Or does that start to wander into the uncanny valley where you're like, it's almost real, but it's not real, and it kind of bothers me? I would love to know in the chat. And that's for everyone, not just Chris. Even if you don't work in VR or AR space, I just love chatting about all this stuff. And yes, you're familiar with my future stages. Good. Thank you. If you're not familiar with my future stages, you can check it out at brendanabradley.com/future stages. It's a free theater that I built on Mozilla Hubs so that you can use it and put your own shows inside of it, either as a 2D video on a stage, so you could live stream to the back of a theater, like a movie theater, or there's a black box version that you can actually put yourself inside the black box theater and move your avatars around, or we've actually composited different actors' web cameras together to make it look like they're all standing on stage together. Super nerdy and fun. Bobby says, I love VR games. If you have a recommendation, I'd love to know. I just finished, I've been doing a lot of the narrative stuff, so like Wolves in the Walls and Baba Yaga, I think, launched like 2 weeks ago. That's kind of like an AI-based animation. It's like being inside of a Pixar movie that responds to your choices, which is kind of cool. thinking of newbies to future stages and taking theater into VR, XR, and if the older generation would be more comfortable with legged people. That's fascinating, Chris. The idea that generationally, if I'm going to see myself represented, if you grew up as like a digital native and you're used to being kind of represented in a variety of avatars, you're less bothered by a non-humanoid avatar. But if you're from an older generation, you really want to be represented. That is fascinating. I also think about like differently abled people and the idea that we're now like, if you choose to represent someone as a humanoid avatar with a very specific ability or movement or look, to me, you start to kind of like dictate how embodiment is, like what is average, what is normal, versus the idea of like, if I'm a pumpkin or a dragon, like there's no there's no debate now about like whose avatar is better. It's like, no, this is how I identified and how I wanted to associate and enter this space. This is the form that I wanted to take. So it's an interesting conversation. And if you have any opinions about it, please join our Discord. This is the type of nerdy stuff I like to talk about on this show. With that, that's what I planned to talk about today. I kind of rattled through our 3 segments. I'm going to try to do this every day on a somewhat regular schedule, at least weekdays, just to kind of give myself some accountability, myself some connection. I am feeling a little bit trapped. And instead of doom scrolling on my news feed, it's just fun to talk about more inspirational, connected, community-driven local news stories and positive stuff, and just to get back in touch with all of y'all. Bobby, Bobby, I can't do the scary VR games. My imagination is too powerful. I can't do any, like, I have to, like, watch horror movies during the day. So the idea of, like, being in the closed headset while horror stuff is happening, not for me. No, thank you. Great. Well, with that, this has been The Homebodies. Thanks for joining me in this daily experiment and escape from my news feed and chatting with your fellow homebodies to take a break from the one story that everybody is talking about. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Get off social media, and I'll see you back here tomorrow, another time, maybe. Well, we'll make it a regular thing. Cool. All right, take care, everybody.